Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Welcome to a brand new month on the Bright Balloon podcast, and I'm excited to announce that it is curated by our friends at Kalisan. That means that they have selected the guest lineup for you this entire month. And if you haven't tried Kalisan balloons yet, this is the perfect time to get to know their high-quality, durable latex balloons that decorators love, including their brand new Aura color line that was just released. Gorgeous, modern shades that are perfect for creating stylish, on-trend designs. Plus, Kalisan offers XL bags, making it easier than ever to stock up on large quantities without constantly restocking, and all at a competitive price point. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Kalisan has the products to help you create beautiful professional designs with ease, and you're going to see a lot more of this brand in the coming months, especially if you are in the US, so stay tuned. And all month long, they are bringing us expert tips, creative techniques, and business strategies. Thank you so much to our friends at Kalisan for sponsoring this month of the Bright Balloon podcast. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to your first guest. I was so excited to reconnect with Kirstin. We met briefly through our participation in the big balloon build years ago. And since then, I knew that she had started working for Kalisan. And again, I think I ran into her at the bar at Float. Like, we were literally getting a drink and we said hi, and she mentioned she was working for Kalisan, and that was my extent of what I knew. So it was fun to reconnect today and hear how her career as a decorator led her to a career with a manufacturer. So she is kind of taking us behind the scenes about how she grew her business and what it looks like today as she kind of juggles her own business, but also more of a corporate job working for our friends over at Kalisan. So we are going to jump right into the interview with Kirstin Tuddenham right after we head over to the U Glue hotline for some great advice that sticks. And once again, thank you to our friends at Kalisan for giving us a great lineup this month. Welcome to the U Glue hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks. Brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lee with Ventura County Balloons out of Ventura, California. My tip for the day is that when you're using foils that don't want to stick to one another with a U-glue, you put some clear tape on both sides. Then you use one of the long strips of U-glue dashes, not the dashes, but the strips. And voila, you're able to put them together and they will stick for as long as you want them to stick. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, U-Glue, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations. You can save on U-Glue when you use the promo code PODCAST at checkout when you shop at our friends havinaparty.com. Welcome to this episode, Kirstin Tuddenham. Did I get it?
Yep, you did. You did.
I'm so excited to chat with you about your business and Kalisan, who is this month's curated sponsor. So they have selected you to be their first guest of their month. And you kind of are wearing two hats. You are a balloon business owner, but as of recently, you are also employed by Kalisan. So let's start with your balloon introduction first. Tell us who you are, where you are, and a little bit about your business.
Okay, so my name's Kirstin Tuddenham, as you just said. My business is Create and Cherish Events. I am based between Preston and Manchester, where most people know Manchester United. So most places I always say, oh, I'm from near Manchester. Yeah, so I'm based in the UK. I've been running my business now for 16, going on 17 years. Worked from home as well as, have it being shop based as well. Um, and then more recently got into doing bigger stuff, traveling. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been great. Yeah,
Cool. So, and that's how we kind of first met was at a big balloon build. You were super
it
involved in
was.
those. So you
Yeah,
traveled and you did a lot. I mean, you came to the US and did them here as well, right?
yeah, yeah. What have I done? 3 or 4 in the US now?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's been great.
Cool. So tell us about your business. You said you were home based and also shop based.
Uh-huh.
Did you move to a shop and then move out of the shop or what? I mean, 16 years is a long time for your business
It
to
is.
evolve. So what kind of happened along the way?
Okay, so I'll be honest. I started off as a face painter and balloon modeler. So it was something really, really simple just to work it around my children. Um, my two of my children are autistic, so it was a little bit originally like, oh, what can I do? What is there to do around my children that I can work on the weekends and my husband look after the kids during the week. Uh, Sorry, he look after the kids at the weekend and I look after them during the week. So they've got
Sure.
7 days of being cared for without having to, palm them off onto childcare or anything like that. Um, so I went from there to about 5 years in of just playing around with balloons and just doing the odd thing on a weekend, to then doing a little bit more from home during the week because the kids were then going to school. And bit by bit, it built up so much so that I was pulling my hair out because I was dancing around the kids, around hundreds of balloons, columns, everything.
Yeah.
Um, and then went into a unit. So I just had like a little storage unit that I could have a little office from. And very quickly from there, I had people saying, we want to come and see you, but it wasn't retail, it was more just storage, like I say. And within 12 months, I moved into a shop and literally just moved out of that shop in September.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, because of my plans to go forward with Kalisan.
Yeah. So you were
So,
there what, like 10-ish years? 8 years in your shop?
no, in the shop, I was there for about 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Was it retail also? Like, could people just come in and buy
Yeah,
balloons?
yeah, yeah. It was retail. I tended to do more of the decorating, so I'd go out and do the bigger stuff. But I had staff in the shop. My son worked with me in the shop. My son's still working in the industry, so it's all become,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so two questions. How old are your kids now? And also, how big is your staff now?
Staff, I don't anymore.
Okay.
Um, it's just me and my son.
Okay.
Just because of me working with Kalisan now. So I've taken it down a little bit. They're still allowing me with whatever I'm doing with them. They're quite good with me working my business around Kalisan as well, which is fantastic. But my kids, yeah, my eldest is 23,
Okay.
my middle lad is 20, nearly 21, and my youngest is 15.
Okay. Okay. So they've had a full childhood of balloons. They grew up
Oh yeah.
around it.
Oh yeah, my middle lad, like I say, he works with me. He's nearly 21, and I think he's done balloons since he was 13.
Oh, cool. Cool. So you've mentioned it a couple times now, and you obviously have a strong Calisan connection. Tell
Yeah.
us kind of how that started, because I do see that happening as I've been in the industry now, like 10 years. I have kind of seen this evolution where like it feels like brands kind of hire from within. Like instead of finding a nobody off the street who's never seen balloon decor to try to work for them, there does seem to be this trend that companies hire balloon decorators to kind of go corporate. And it sounds like kind of what you're doing. So what has been your evolution with Calisan and what's coming up?
Okay, so I did start working with another brand. Um, I worked with them, did calendar shoots and everything like that with them for maybe 18 months, 2 years, something like
Okay.
that. Um, was approached by Kalisan. Um, realized it was the right move to move over to Kalisan. The balloons are just the balloons because I like a lot of distortion. I found that the balloons were a lot softer to be able to manipulate
Oh,
and
neat.
to create the flowers and create whatever I wanted to create. So much easier and quicker, and I don't know, just the feel of the balloons was so much better. So yeah, I got approached by Kalisan to just do a class first of all.
Okay.
Um, I don't think they realized that, the connection between me and the other brand at first. Um, but then they offered me the class. I did. I took the class. Quite enjoyed it. And yeah, we just moved forward from there. Very quickly, I started doing things more with them on the side and helping them out with in the UK with the social media. Did just a few little bits with them. And then I got asked to do what we call spring fair over here.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we decorated a stand, so it's basically just a big exhibition for manufacturers and for wholesalers to come in and purchase from manufacturers, really. And I was asked with Jesus, who is the Balloon King,
Hmm.
from he's now in LA, I believe, to decorate the stand basically. So for me to show off distortion and twisting and that kind of stuff, where he was going to do all the organics and do the big stuff, and I would decorate and put all the embellishments into it basically. And from there, Ozcan saw my work and straight away just said, "I want you to come over to float with us." In what was it, February, March
Yeah,
last year?
last year. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and
That's
from
cool.
there,
So what, yeah, we'll talk about then now you have like a full-time job with them. Um but in the in between, what was your thought process? Like, did you feel like, okay, this is kind of gonna be the end of my business, or like, how is this going to affect my personal business? Or did you have to have conversations? Because it is a gray area of like, I'm working for a brand, but I'm also working for myself, and what takes priority. Like, what are those conversations like? And I'm sure they're different depending on the brand and the situation.
they know that I'm a decorator. They always knew that I was a decorator. Richard, that owns the UK arm of Kalisan, we've always known each other. We've known each other for quite some time. And Kerry, who is one of the other directors, I used to work on the big build when it was based in the UK in
Okay.
Cardiff. So we worked together quite a lot on that. So the both of them, we always had that, that connection between the three of us. And they knew where I was. I kind of knew where they were. I don't think we really needed to have that conversation. They know that I still want to play with balloons and decorate with balloons. So part of my role within Kalisan still involves creating content with balloons.
Okay.
So I'll still be playing with balloons, but on the side of that, they're still happy for me to take on some of my jobs, some of my big corporate clients that I've always had.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think from their point of view, like, that's such a strength that they have someone not only like making stuff for calendars, but like in the field. Sometimes balloons
yeah,
behave differently when you're like, actually, these look terrible after 6 hours, and outside they're a no-go. And there's this one color, one size that has an issue. And like, you're not going to find that unless you're actually using them. So it seems like, yeah, why would they want to steal your superpower of being an actual
yeah,
decorator?
yeah. What I think one of the original things that drew the conversation was the fact that I could actually just go to them and say, look, I think this is what we need to do. Or like I've had a conversation today with Richard and said, look, I think this could be a good direction. He's like, yeah, okay then.
Yeah.
So
What can I ask? Can I be nosy and ask what some of that actual feedback is? Like, maybe they've implemented it already, but like, what is something that you're just like, here's something I would change or do different, and they seem pretty receptive to that feedback.
they do. I know when I first came on, not so much onto the team, but when I first started playing with Kalisan balloons, because they'd asked me, they'd put some in my hands and said, have a play with them. They were looking at the modeling balloons, and there was just the odd thing that needed tweaking with the modeling balloons. But now they've listened. There was another artist, Cody Williams, was looking at them. I believe there was others looking at them as well. And it was a case of we all went back with feedback. We all said this needs sorting, that needs sorting, this would be better. It wasn't a case of we want to replicate another brand, but we
Yeah.
think how we as artists work better with those balloons. And they seem to just listen and just change it just, so quickly.
Yeah. That's great. I think
And
that's such a good quality for a company to have.
yeah,
Um, let's take a quick break, and then let's talk about the company a little bit more and the balloons specifically, because you have that unique perspective of kind of both sides. I feel like Calisan is coming in hot this year in the US, and I'm curious your opinion is. Obviously, it's high, but you have that experience comparing it to, lots of different balloons and some of the strengths that maybe it brings to the table. So let's take a break and then get into Kalisan's specific details. If you haven't checked out Having a Party yet, now is the time. The great team over at Having a Party Wholesale carries a huge selection of high quality balloons and supplies to take your designs to the next level, including Kalisan, this month's sponsor. Plus, they're more than just a supplier, they're committed to education, helping balloon professionals grow their skills and businesses, and investing in our industry, whether that's hosting in house classes or sponsoring instructors at events. In fact, I'll be teaching for Having a Party at Float 2026, and I can't wait to highlight their awesome products and service. And here's something extra. Get 5% off orders over $200 using the code podcast at checkout when you shop at havingaparty.com. All right, welcome back. I'll be honest, I don't have a ton of experience with Kalisan. I've heard good things, but what is your pitch for me to give them a try? What would you say?
Okay, so I have actually commented with this on this to somebody today. For me, like I say, distortion is my big thing. So as soon as somebody says, what is it about Kalisan? The necks. So for the organic field, you've got the necks. The necks are longer. From what I've seen in all the different tests that I've done, they've got the longest necks on the market.
Okay.
So if you're an organic person, you can easily tie neck to neck and have that good length of neck to stretch in. The rounds with the 260s are great for distortion. Like I say, the 12-inch are soft enough. The 260s are strong enough. The 260s, I'll admit, are just that little bit too strong for me to snap really easily, especially when I've got nails on. But for me, that's a good thing because the 260 inside the round being stronger is great for distortion.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about getting a cutter or a pair of scissors, to cut the 260 if I'm twisting. Again, the colours, oh my God, the colours are amazing. Ozcan's always thinking on his feet of what is the next best thing that's coming, and he always seems to be ahead of the game with the colours.
And real quick, he is going to come on a future episode.
Okay.
But he is the owner, or what is
Yeah.
Ozcan's role? He's the owner of the company.
He is, yeah. Yeah. I don't know 100% the whole history of it, but
We'll
his
let
dad,
him, yeah, we can let him share that. But yeah,
there's his dad, it's all a family run, so they all have their own little roles to play. It's a
cool. Well,
great
yeah,
family company.
I'm excited to kind of familiarize myself and everyone listening with this brand. The one thing too that I've noticed is they're coming out with the big bags of like 500
Yeah.
little balloons, which I think is such a smart move for sustainability, right? Like everyone's talking about the balloons and do they biodegrade and what are they made of? And it's like, well, we know the plastic bags aren't biodegrading. So like, why are we ordering, quantities of 50?
Yeah.
Like when we know we're
Yeah,
going to use
exactly.
tons and tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I tend to do is even if I do end up having to buy 100 bag or a 50 count bag, I still fill up my XL bags quickly so that I've still got that XL bag, and it's even more, it's like 2,000 balloons maybe, and it's just sat on the side and it's sealed up because it's got the Ziploc top. So they're still fresh. They're in a massive bag. I can just take them out on a job and I know that I'm not going to run out.
Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
is really nice. I really like that feature. And they have prints too, right?
Yes.
Do you use those?
Yeah, Ozcan is the print king.
Okay,
He's
interesting.
totally the print king. So recently they've just put out their limited edition Safari cow prints.
Okay.
Which is a black or a white balloon with gold cow print instead of the general black cow print.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it's limited edition. It's one of those that when it's gone, it's gone. He's not going to carry on with it. He just wants to put something special into people's hands.
Oh, that's
let
cool.
them play with it. Let's see how it goes. And yeah.
Well, and I think I just saw you on your Instagram making something out of those, but they were 3-footers. Do they do 3-foot prints?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I can't remember if they were 24-inch or 36-inch.
Oh, okay.
Remember.
Well, they looked humongous.
Yeah, they were huge. They were huge, but it was a small room as well. So perspective wise, they would probably look bigger. But yeah, they were 24 or 36-inch, can't remember. That I made them into links and made one of the big balloon dogs.
Yeah, how did you do that? Because you were linking those jumbos. Did you put a raisin inside and tie it?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. I saw you put that together.
Yeah.
Little twister experience in you.
Yeah,
Cool, cool. Well, I'm excited. I mean, they're available here, but again, I feel like they're one of those newer brands that people are like kind of maybe it's just me because I was so Qualitex for so long. I
yeah,
think I just kind of kept my blinders on and I was kind of unaware of all these other options out there. So now it's really fun. I feel like a kid in the candy store. I'm like trying all these brands and all these colors and all these new things. But it's definitely one to look out for. And it feels
yeah.
like they are, like I said, making a move in the US. It seems like I'm seeing more and more people carry them and have a little bit more of a presence in,
Yeah.
at events and all of that.
In the UK, I would say arguably they are one of two of the top brands.
Okay.
Um, I think they have made massive, massive waves in the UK from the minute they came in. And I really do think as a young brand, how quickly they've come onto the market and how quickly they've got to where they are, also providing new products, keeping going with the latex that's there, as well as expanding on the latex range.
Yeah.
I think they're actually one to watch, with how
Very
quick
cool.
they've moved on to where they are now.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and
it's
then and
amazing.
clarify real quick what your role there is now because you said kind of how you started and you were doing social media and making content. What is your full-time job? Because this is very recent that now you're turning full-time with Kalisan. That's exciting.
Okay, so I become full-time on the 1st of April.
Okay.
So it is basically I'm still not quite there, but I've been working self-employed for them, going out doing different events and things like that. Like I say, working the social media, just running the UK social media. It's not
Hmm.
Kalisan as a whole, it's the UK's version.
Okay.
We are just the distribution for the UK for Kalisan, basically.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um, but my role will be social media manager and part of the sales team.
Very cool. Cool. So will we
Um,
get to see you at events?
Hopefully,
Yeah.
events
Hopefully
have
you're
been mentioned, but
good,
we'll
good.
see.
Well,
We'll see.
I'm putting it out in the universe. I want to see you back at Float. Just
Yeah.
selfishly because I'll be there. So I'd like to
Like
see you.
we've just had this conversation. Lisa Mack came over to Blackpool Balloon Bash last
Oh, cool.
week, the week before. So me and Lisa Mack was actually sat chatting about it. And yes, I think there's a possibility I'm back at Float next year.
Cool, cool. I'm really excited. New location and some new stuff there. I can't wait. I'm teaching.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I love Float. It's always such a good one.
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest. Compared to the UK, the UK can be very, very small on conventions and that kind of thing. So for me to come over to Float was a whole eye opener. To have a whole exhibition room as well as all the classes that were going on was amazing.
Yeah. Cool,
So
cool.
I
All
can't
right.
wait.
Well, let's take one more break and then we're going to end on some fun questions about not necessarily balloons, but just getting a little bit better acquainted with you.
Okay.
Balloon Pros, if you've been putting off your website because you're too busy inflating, installing, or making magic for your clients, you're not alone. I know so many of you have been stuck between DIYing your site, struggling with templates that don't quite fit, or feeling like a fully custom website is out of reach. That's where Courtney Lynette Creative Co. comes in. Courtney is a web designer who has worked with tons of balloon stylists, and she gets the unique needs of your business. She's created Website in a Day, a streamlined process that gives you a high-end, custom quality website and branding without the stress or high cost. In just one day, you'll walk away with a beautiful, strategic website designed to help you book more clients, showcase your work, and stand out in a crowded market. Plus, branding is included, so your entire online presence looks polished and professional from top to bottom. And because you're a Bright Balloon listener, you can get $100 off your Website in a Day package. Just mention the podcast when you book. Don't wait another season to get your website working for you. Head to CourtneyLynette.com/bright-balloon to learn more, or click the link in the show notes wherever you're listening. All right, welcome back. Let's end with our final three questions. The first one is, where is your favorite place to go on vacation?
Oh no. Okay, so a couple of years ago I would have said Cyprus. Cyprus, for me, I always, when I was younger, used to get the deja vu feeling. Me and my dad actually once sat there at breakfast and went, oh my God, both of us got it at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. But as I've become a big US fan recently, yeah, um, you know how much I've traveled across to the US in the last couple
Hmm.
of years. And yeah, Florida has become one of my favorites, if I'm honest.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
it's so funny that you're putting
Yeah.
Cyprus and Florida on the same list because
I
as someone
know,
who
I
goes to
know.
Florida all the
Well,
time, I'm like, "Meh."
this is it. One's my beach holiday, the other one's my fun holiday.
Yeah. Oh,
That's the way I
cool,
see it.
cool. Very cool.
Last year we did it. We came over to Florida for holiday. Um, and we traveled straight from the airport up to Jacksonville, stayed in Jacksonville for a night, went up to Georgia, stayed with Maureen for 4 days,
Oh,
then traveled
fun.
through Alabama onto the Emerald Coast, down back into Florida, and did the rest of the 2 weeks with my boys in Universal.
Oh,
Loved
that's awesome. It's so funny how balloons make the world so small. You know, it's like you
it.
come from halfway across the world to hang out with people that I know. It's
Yeah,
very fun.
Maureen and Gary. Maureen and Gary were
Yeah.
both away for the
Oh,
weekend. So.
well, I would visit those two if I were close as well. Good choices.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What is something you've purchased recently that you like?
Oh, uh, balloons? Can I say that?
No,
That
have it be something that's not balloons, something unrelated.
uh mm, my cat, one of my cats.
Oh, you got a new
Yeah,
cat?
I have 6 cats now.
Six. And you were
Six
doing
cats.
balloons out of your house? Did you have cats then?
Yes,
How did they not get super
and
hairy?
a dog.
Oh my gosh.
And a dog. So do you see my dilemma with the whole having to move out of the house and into a unit?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Six cats. I don't have any cats, so I can't relate at all. But I guess if you like them, then yeah, your sixth one would be something that you're happy
Yeah.
you bought.
They're all pedigree, so they're all expensive too. So yeah,
You're
they're a
like a
good purchase.
cat collector. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Well, last question. Something super simple that you would recommend to business owners, a piece of advice or a tip.
Okay, so when I was going through that transitional stage of, um, like you're just being a sit-at-home mum and you're not really doing much, you're just coasting along and not quite moving your business along. Someone once said to me, and it's the one thing that turned me to kind of go, do you know what? I need to do this. I need to do this better than what it was. And that person said to me, there are no excuses. There are
Hmm.
only reasons. And I actually sat there and thought about it, and I thought, you know what? I am making excuses. My children are an excuse. My not needing to go or not wanting to go somewhere because I've got to pick my children up from school was an excuse. It is a good reason, but at the same time, I had people to pick them up for me. I didn't need to be there 100%. So
Yeah.
there was that possibility where I could then go out and take another course, and I could go to another class, and I could go to another convention, and from there, I don't sit down anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
those wise words, and I would say them to anybody else going forward. Don't
And
make excuses.
I'm gonna kind of just ask one last question related to that because you have been in business for so long, and I do feel like you do kind of get to that point where your business is maybe like on autopilot, or like you said, you're kind of stagnant. It's just like
Yeah.
not moving. Other than that piece of advice, has there been anything that you've done or that you can do to motivate yourself to kind of amp it up? I feel like there's a lot of us, I'm guilty of it too, where it's like, I could go out and get more business, but I'm happy with what I have, or I could try to meet that person, but maybe I'll just wait and see if I run into them somewhere. Like what keeps you motivated to keep going for that
Yeah.
long?
Again, I get to that point every year, every
Mm,
single year. I come to the end of the year and think, oh, it's been a hard year. Pushing myself through. It's time to take a break. But then I get through that New Year stage, and then I get to the first conventions, and I get to the first classes that are coming up, and I put myself in them. I just throw myself into them, and I don't care whether it's something that I've already seen or already done, because there's always something to pick up, isn't there?
yeah, and that's where you
So
get
I
your
always throw myself into something along
your
those
boost of
lines.
energy. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm. And I always
absolutely.
come away like inspired. I always come away with something to kind of go, do you know what? Yeah, I can do this. Let's go for another year.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, it was so nice chatting with you.
You too.
And thanks for kicking off our Kalisan month. I love that you were able to talk about it a little bit as an insider, but also as one of us, as a regular, a decorator with your experience using the balloons.
Yeah.
Can't wait to learn more about them this month. And thanks so much, too. I'm going to give you a shout out. You're the one who kind of set up this relationship. So I appreciate you making that connection so much so
No,
that we can learn more about them.
yeah, it's been good.
All right. Well, thank you so much and take care.
You too.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.